Welcome to Sports Talk on HCAM. This is, I guess, a special episode. We're filming two of them this week. This one's on the Wednesday of February 20th, and we'll do a normal Friday film. So a lot of stuff to talk about this week. We're going to talk about NBA trade deadline. It's tomorrow. What are the Celtics going to do, if anything at all? What do they need to do? What will happen with some bigger names? Josh Smith of the Atlanta Hawks, Dwight Howard of the Lakers, will he go? Will Kevin Garnett waive his no-trade clause? So that's interesting. We're going to talk about the Bruins, what we thought. They're on a break now. They're playing tomorrow. They haven't played since Sunday. They played Winnipeg, and they played on, I think, Friday. They lost that game to Buffalo after blowing the lead. So thoughts on that. We're going to touch on the Patriots franchise tag issue with, who are they going to use it on? They said they're not going to use it on Welker. Will they use it on Talib? I don't know how much the money is, so we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about, for the first time, baseball. We're talking about the Red Sox spring training, our expectations for the team, what we think they need to do to be successful, at least better than last year, where we think they're going to be. So all that stuff and our thoughts just around the whole MLB and what we think could happen with some other teams in the Red Sox division and throughout the league. So let's start on the NBA. The Celtics currently right now are seventh in the Eastern Conference. They played a game last night against Denver, their first from the All-Star break. They were in it, but they couldn't hold on to win the game. Denver pulled away late. They weren't able to do good. Pierce was 2-14. They lost. You're not going to win every one. They're still playing good. They've only lost 2 out of their last 8 or 9. So they're doing good. But now the question is, with the trade deadline tomorrow, will they make a move? I was looking at the roster, everything, and I just don't think they can make a move. I don't think they have the pieces to make a move. It'd be great to get a big man to control the paint, get in there, get rebounds, stop guards from getting into the paint, getting easy layups. But I don't know if they can get one. They just don't have anything to trade. There's rumors out there with Kevin Garnett, who has the no trade clause. I don't know if have you guys heard this rumor that Garnett would go to the Clippers and DeAndre Jordan, Eric Bledsoe would come to the Celtics. Have you guys heard that rumor?
I have heard that rumor.
Did you hear that one, Joe?
No.
But the big thing with that rumor is that trade is that Garnett has the no trade clause, and he doesn't want to waive it. I think this is what I think. DeAndre Jordan would be great to come here with Garnett and Pierce still intact to get that big. And I like Eric Bledsoe, and I think he'd be a good, he's a good young player for you. I just don't think that trade's going to happen. I don't think Garnett's going to waive no trade clause. I don't know if you can get everything figured out. I just think it's going to happen. So Joe has the Celtics roster. We just don't. It just doesn't look like they have enough to trade.
Yeah.
So my feeling is only way Garnett would leave is if Pierce was gone. So they would have to. I think they would have to say to Garnett, "Look, we're going to trade Pierce. Does this change you?" And I think it would. And if I'm Garnett, I'd want to go to the Clippers personally. Go there, play with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and get another championship possibly. But he doesn't want to. He's a loyal guy. He wants to stay here. It was tough for him to leave Minnesota. So somebody's asking this. Do you think the Celtics, let's start with Joe here, will make a move either with Pierce or Garnett, or do you think they're going to keep those guys before the trade deadline tomorrow?
They're going to keep them, yeah.
What do you think, Alex?
I think they may move with Garnett to probably get more and better players than what they've had.
I think they would want to. I just don't think Garnett will waive that no-trade clause unless Pierce is gone too, and I don't think they'll trade Pierce. There's another rumor out there that this one I think is a long shot. So I think both these rumors are a long shot, and they're just rumors. They're not. It could have been just a quick phone call saying, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Someone finds out and they tell it to one of the insiders, and then it's a big story. It might not be anything. But Dwight Howard only has a year left. It's been an awful season for him and the Lakers. Howard has not been healthy. He hasn't played up to what they thought he would. The Lakers have not been good. They were expected to win the championship. Howard has 1 year left on his deal from Orlando when they traded him to it. So he'll be a free agent. So usually when these guys are free agents, you trade them and try to get assets for them. So there was a rumor for Rondo for Howard. I don't like the deal. I don't want the Celtics to touch Howard. I don't want him. I do not think they should get involved in the mess, the drama that is Dwight Howard and has been the last couple of years. There was a rumor. I think Rondo would help the Lakers. I don't think it's going to happen. This deal will not happen. I don't think that's what you want to get into. So, I mean, do you guys think this deal will happen? I personally think it's a long shot. It might have been just a quick discussion, but what do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I agree it's a long shot for them, but I think that it could happen because, yeah, Rondo's hurt, so it's hard to come back from. What do you have?
Torn ACL.
Yeah, torn ACL. It's hard to come back from that because Big Papi had something like that. So, yeah, and it's hard to come back to something like that. So I think that they're gonna think of trading him for a better player.
What do you think, Al?
I think that the trade is possible, yes, and I think they might do it because they've tried to get rid of Rondo once already, and I think they want to get rid of him. And both players are good, but as Joe said, he's injured with the torn ACL. Rondo's injured with a torn ACL, and Dwight Howard can get the rebounds and defensive blocks and stuff. I think we should probably do the trade.
I think he would help the team now. The question is that, one, will he stop being a baby when things don't go his way? Will he stay healthy? I mean, he's not a bad player at all, and he's probably the best big man in the game, no doubt, but I just don't think the trade can happen. I don't think you would want to do that for your Lakers or the Celtics, but the question is, will the guy, produce? He hasn't produced this year at all for them. The numbers are okay. They're not what they're used to, but it's all the problems. You're in LA, and if he can't handle the media and all that stuff in LA, what makes you think he's going to come to this market and do the same thing? It's another market just like that. Orlando wasn't. Orlando was not that tight. It's not a Boston, a Chicago, a New York, a Los Angeles. It's not one of those markets. Boston is one of the toughest ones. The media will attack you if you don't produce, if there's things for them to be attack you on, like Bobby Valentine last year. If he can't handle it in Los Angeles, what makes you think it's going to work out here? And I just don't think it would necessarily work, and I don't want to get involved in that. I don't know if he'll stay healthy. So there's just too many question marks with Howard for me to give Rondo up for. So I don't think it's going to happen. So I don't think they'll trade Pierce or Garnett. It comes down to making a move of, can you make this team better for right now? And Joe, if you get the roster up, that would be great for the Celtics. It's like you want to get a big. You have no one to trade to get a big.
Got it.
J.J. Redick from Orlando's kind of been rumored on the market. Well, you got Courtney Lee. They say you try to trade Courtney Lee or something. Well, it doesn't make your team a whole lot better, and you don't have anybody to trade. So we look down this roster, there's a lot of injuries, Bradley went down with his ankle last night, and I was like, please don't let this be a big injury. I don't think it was. But, look, you're not going to trade Bradley. I don't think you'll trade Bass. Wilcox, I don't think, is a big trade asset. Courtney Lee, you might, but, you also need guards. Fat Mello, you're not going to trade him. Sellinger's hurt. Jason Collins, like I said, not a big trade asset. You need guards. You're not going to trade Terry. Jeff Green would be... I think people look at Jeff Green and maybe want him. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think you got to keep him. Garnett with the no trade. Barbosa's hurt. Pierce, you never know, but it wouldn't make this team better for the now. You'd have to keep Garnett, Pierce, and Rondo's hurt. So as you go down this list, it just doesn't make sense that unless they trade picks, I don't think this team will make a move. So now let's get to a couple of the big names that are rumored on the market. And Josh Smith's one of them. Do you guys know who Josh Smith is on the Atlanta Hawks?
I will know in a couple seconds.
Do you know who he is, Alex?
No.
Okay, well, he's been a good player, all-star player for the Hawks, since he's been there in the league. Came out of high school. He's great shot blocker. He's a really pretty good player. I don't think he's a superstar. He wants a max contract at the end of this year. I don't think he's that type of player at all. I think he's a good player. And I think he would help a team out like Brooklyn. I think he'd be great in Brooklyn. I think with Darren Williams, you have Joe Johnson, Brook Lopez on him. That team could make if they get the players they have to play the Heat, maybe they could actually give them a series now because you have people. Josh Smith could guard LeBron James, Joe Johnson could guard Wade. You have the advantage at point guard. You got Brook Lopez in the paint on Bosch. I think he might have a series there, but I think he fit good there. The question is, they want a lot back for him, and I guess the rumor for the Nets was Chris Humphries and Marshawn Brooks. And maybe give him a pick. I think that deal is very likely to happen personally because I don't think Josh Smith will be in Atlanta at the end of this year if they don't trade him. So you have to get something for him. And I think if you're Atlanta, you have to restart because you've been a playoff team, second round, first round since 2007, 2008 now. when he can improve. I don't think they're going to get to the conference finals, which is the next step up for this organization. So I say you traded Joe Johnson last year. You have to trade Josh Smith now. I think that you got to start over. You got good player Jeff Teague. Still have Al Horford. Maybe make a run at Dwight Howard when he's in free agency and have two really good big men, in Horford and Howard, at the end of this year. Do you guys think, now with a little bit of background on Smith and where the Hawks are going, that he could get traded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, all right, I definitely think so. Then another big name I read about this morning. You guys know who Derek Williams is from Minnesota? Okay, if you guys do not know him. All right, he's the number 2 pick from a couple of years ago out of Arizona. He's rumored on the market. He has been coming off the bench. Kevin Love's hurt. He's been starting. I think I read he's been averaging 16 and 8 or something over his last 10 games. But I guess things aren't working out there, so he's on the market. If I'm the Celtics, that's a guy I would actually go after, but they have nothing to trade. I think Minnesota, if you're going to trade a guy like that, you need to get something back. I think he's a guy to play the 3 or the 4. He's only 6'9", but he was really good at college with Arizona. I think he's a good player. He's on the market. It's another big name. So a lot of interesting things. I don't think Howard... Now, the question is, besides the Celtics, I just want to get one more Howard thought from you guys. Do you think Howard will be traded to any team? Maybe Brooklyn. Brooklyn's a team that could happen. They could put them to the next step. Brook Lopez might go to L.A. with some other pieces to make the money work. Do you guys think that Howard could get traded? Not to the Celtics. I don't think that will happen, but in general.
Yeah. I think he could get traded to the Hawks because there's some rumors going around that he could go to the
Well, there's
Hawks.
no rumors that he would go to the
Atlanta.
Hawks. Maybe free agency. I was kind of speculating upon that.
Yeah.
There's maybe rumors about there was a rumor about the Celtics and maybe Brooklyn and some stuff like that. Do you think he can get traded there?
Yeah.
What do you think, Alex?
Well, I do think he could get traded as long as the trade for the Lakers or whatever team he's on at the time. I think as long as it's a good trade for them, they'll take it.
I'm going to put it 60-40 that he does not get traded. I'd say 40% chance he will. Maybe they'll try to work things out with him and sign him back at the end of this year and say just top on board, see what happens. But that's just stuff. So when we come back Friday to film another show, we will know what happened. We will talk about that. If there was any groundbreaking moves, I don't know. I don't think it will be too earth-shattering stuff. I think the biggest name to go will probably be Josh Smith. So we'll talk about that next time on Friday. So time to go to the Bruins. They're playing tomorrow night against Tampa. They've been off on a break.
Spazzing out.
They're facing Ottawa.
No, they're playing Tampa Bay tomorrow.
Oh.
They're playing Tampa.
Yeah.
And then they're playing Florida on Sunday. So what I was kind of was tough to watch was Friday night's game. So this is going back not a complete week, but it was against the Buffalo Sabres. Did you watch that game, Joe?
Yeah.
They were winning the game, playing good. Buffalo fans were booing the crowd, and then it totally fell apart. What were your thoughts on that game, Joe? That game from Friday night.
Well, we're the number one. We're pretty good. We're good in the third period, so we shouldn't have let up 3 goals in the third period. We should have scored 3 goals, not them score 3 goals. So, yeah, we should have won the game. We should have tried a little harder. Well, a lot harder.
What do you think, Alex?
I think we should have won that game, but we just fell apart toward the end area. We just died, basically.
Yeah, it was tough. Buffalo's had their number this year. I still think, like I said, the Bruins, look, you have those games sometimes. My worry about the Bruins, I know Dougie Hamilton that night scored a power play goal. They scored a power play goal with Marchand, I think it's second the night. But I want to get to this. I was listening to some sports radio. They were talking about this with Tyler Seguin. He hasn't been off to an unbelievable start like everybody thought. I think he's been doing fine. I think the puck hasn't went in the net for him. I think he's going to be great. I think people need to lay back on Tyler Seguin, personally. I think just hold on. Not every great player gets out right away and comes right out of the gates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look at Ovechkin. He's not the best.
Ovechkin, he's having a really rough year. Him and Washington, they're down in last place. That's another interesting thought, man. I mean, I don't know what's going on with them. But with Seguin, it's like, I think fine. But some people are talking about this, is that eventually, when are you going to move Tyler Seguin to the first line? There was some other radio show I was listening to, they were talking about that. And when are you going to do that? That's his natural position. My thinking when I was listening, I'm like, you need to move him eventually to a center position because that's his natural position. I think it makes your team better because I think he opens up the ice. I think it gives him more room to operate and find other people and score himself. I think eventually you're going to have to make that transition. The question is when. I don't think you can't keep this guy a winger the rest of his career. He's too good for that. You need to move his skill set is so much better in the center. I think they move from the power play more. Have you guys had issues with him not sometimes being on the power play as much as he probably should?
Yeah.
Have you got any? I definitely think so.
The whole team's struggling on the power play. Like they should be doing better.
The other thing with this is it's no recent news. They've been not good on that power play since they won the Stanley Cup. I mean, they were awful in that championship run. The power play. This has been 3 years. They have not been a good power play team. They've tried so many things. Like, remember, you guys, when they got Thomas Cabalet on defense to try to be the quarterback of power play? That didn't work out. Their power play has not been good. I think you got to fix it eventually. I think getting Sagan on that. Now, this is no rumor at all, but you guys know who Jerome McGinley is on Calgary? Yeah, great player. Last year of his deal. He's older. So a lot of people are saying, let's trade for Jerome McGinley.
Yeah,
and personally, I think a lot of people love David Krejci. I'm not the biggest Krejci fan. I would trade him and move Sagan up to that center position. I think keep Bergeron at center. So that's just my thoughts on that. And then they came back against Winnipeg and won. I'm not worried about this team. I think you're going to lose a game. They've only lost 2 regulation games. I mean, they're going to be fine. But let's start with Alex this time. What are your expectations for the Bruins? As we're going to learn more and more, they've played the fewest games in the NHL, I think. So as they have to play more and more games back-to-back and more in the week, do you think it will affect them? Or what are your expectations going forward as we've played, I think, 14 games now?
Well, we've played 13 games so far, and I think it'll, not help us with the back-to-back games. I think it'll tire out our players more. Have the teams that we're going to play be able to study us easier. And, yeah.
All right, I'll get your thoughts on that, Joe.
Yeah, well, it's going to affect us because we've been off basically a week for a couple of weeks now. Like, we've been, a game, then a week, then a game, then a week, something like that. So it's going to affect our team because we're not used to all those games in so little time. So, yeah, and there's going to be more power plays for us, and we're most likely not going to do much with them unless we work with it. So, yeah, we should probably work on power plays more.
I definitely think so. So I think the Bruins honestly will be okay. We just got to give them more time. You learn more and more. They're not bad at all. They're 9-2-2. I mean, it's just, let's see. They bounced back Sunday night, which I was happy about. So now, let's go to, I think, the best team in the NHL is, Joe, you wrote some notes on this. It's the Chicago Blackhawks. They are very close. They are tied for the best start in a regular season history for an NHL team with Anaheim now. So they win again. They beat Vancouver last night. This team keeps winning. I was watching some of the games they played against LA on Sunday. I mean, they're just sick. It's just they have so much talent. That team, man, is going to go to the Stanley Cup. They really are. I don't care if you throw San Jose at them in the playoffs, Vancouver, they're going to beat them. This team is for real.
Vancouver's going to crash like normal.
They're going to choke again.
Yeah.
I just love. What are you guys' thoughts on Chicago? I mean, they're playing great. What do you think, Alex? But just any thoughts about Chicago to start this season?
Well, so far, Chicago has done amazing. I think they might actually have a chance at the Cup this year.
Me too, definitely. What do you think about them, Joe, so far?
Well, they're the strongest team, and they have only lost three times the whole league and the whole season so far.
And all of them are only in OT.
Yeah, all shootout.
Not one regular season loss. Regulation, excuse me.
Yeah.
This team will go to the Stanley Cup. That's the way I feel about it. I think they're doing great. Like I said, I predicted it a couple weeks ago, Bruins, Blackhawks. I'm staying by that prediction. I really am.
Yeah.
I think the East is tough. The Rangers are in it. This Pittsburgh, I'm scared of Pittsburgh, but I think and Montreal is actually having a better year. So that's still my Stanley Cup prediction. So we're going to transition out of hockey right now. We'll talk about the game Friday, or talk about tomorrow night's game on Friday. Our thoughts about that. We're going to go quickly into the Patriots franchise tag and some guys who've been released. Green Bay cut Charles Woodson and Dwight Freeney was cut by the Colts. So quickly, I want to get your guys' thoughts on, is it a mistake not playing the tag on Welker at all? Do you think that's a mistake or not a mistake?
Well, I think it is a mistake. Wait, the tag is...
The franchise tag, where you tag them and they're with you 1 year, but every time you
yeah.
franchise tag them, the money goes up?
Yeah. I don't think it's a mistake because he's still a really great player. So, just keep him as long as we can, and if he still gets bad, then if he gets worse, we should just think about trading him then.
Well, I think they didn't. I think they made the right decision with not giving him the tag because he did better once basically the coaching staff told Brady to pass it to him. So I think they didn't make a mistake with that because if he gets worse, then we could possibly give it to him. I don't know.
They're not going to give him the tag. I'm not okay. I would be okay with it if they were going to give him a 3-year deal, which I think they should do. I think he's earned it. Everybody else is saying around here that he's getting older. He's 32 years old. It's time to move on. No. The guy only leads the league in receiving every year. You give him a 3-year deal. You get 2 good years out of him and you don't get 1 good year. So what? He's earned it. I'm telling you, he deserves it. And this team, I'm telling you, I think they will look different without him and not be as good. I think you have to give him 3 years, $27 million. That means $9 million a year or so, and he's earned it. He's earned it. I think he'll still produce the next 2 years, just like he has. Yeah, he's aging, but I haven't seen a sign really much of him slowing down. I don't understand it. I don't understand their methodology behind it.
He gets cracked as hard as he can and gets right back up and acting like nothing happened.
I mean, what more can you ask from this guy? In the NFL, people get contracts, and they haven't put in as much effort, work, and how much determination that Wes Welker has. I think you got to give him what he wants and keep him here. I'm really starting to think they're not going to. And look at this, 118 receptions last year, and he was at how old? I don't know exactly, 31, 32. I mean, he's already.
Yeah.
That's just my thought on Wes Welker. And I don't know if they're going to get Talib back. We'll get more into the whole keep Talib thing later as we're kind of running out of time. But will they give him a deal or tag him? That's interesting. We'll save that for Friday because we're a little short. So for the first time, we're going to talk about Boston Red Sox baseball. So they're in spring training right now. They got some spring training games coming up this weekend.
We got a new head coach.
Yep, new manager, John Farrell. I don't know what to expect. There's a lot of storylines, I think, for them.
Pedro Martinez is back as a coach,
too.
Yep.
That's it. That's another thing. I think partly a PR move personally, but
scares half the batters in batting training.
Yeah. With the whole Red Sox, I think their starting rotation, for them to be successful this season, you need to get good production out of Lester. He needs to go back to when he was going 16-6 with an ERA in the 3s, like 3.20. You need to get that out of him back. You cannot have another year like him. If he doesn't produce, it's gonna be tough. That whole pitching staff. Then you got Clay Buchholz. He used to have a year. I remember in 2010 he went 16-6. A ERA in the 3s. Last year he won 12 games, but he had an ERA like 4.50. You need to get that down, and he needs to win maybe 13, 14 games. John Lackey, I don't know what to expect. I don't think he's done great when he's 2010, 2011. Tommy John surgery, he's back. I don't know what you're going to get out of him. If you can get 11 wins from him, that's good. And then Ryan Dempster, if you can get maybe 11, 12 wins from him, you signed him in free agency. That's 4 guys in double-digit wins. You need your pitching staff to be good for the Red Sox. Would you guys both agree? Their pitching staff has to be good this year.
Yeah.
I agree because last year they were one of the worst pitching staff.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, they were terrible.
Their pitching staff needs to be good this year. And I think that's a key for them. And I think it will get better. But I think that if their pitching staff can pitch a lot, like their guys should, this team will win more games. And then I think their lineup and what they've got going in the outfield isn't bad. Victorino, I think, will produce. I think you could get production out of Napoli. I think you will get that. I don't think this injury thing will keep him down. If Ellsbury can produce for you, great. Like he did. If Ellsbury produces for you, that's great. And then if Ortiz can come back and play like as he was like before he got hurt, Pedroia plays good. I mean, you've got pieces there that will help you. Shortstop, they got Steven Drew. If he could just, be a decent shortstop for them. You got guys there. Johnny Gomes, they picked up. He can hit like 23 home
Still have
runs.
Siriaco, who's still an amazing.
Who?
We still have Siriaco, which is still a great player.
Can you go down a little bit in the roster?
Yeah.
I want to just see quickly. I think I'm forgetting someone. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, they got Joel Hanrahan. They got as the closer. I think their bullpen will be improved. I think he'll be a good closer. If Andrew Bailey, who was supposed to be the closer, but he got hurt, could be a good setup man. I mean, this team, if these guys produce with the starting pitchers, the bullpen, and their lineup, I could see this team winning 83 games and being in for that second wild card. I expect them to be in the hunt for it. Maybe win 79. But I do not think they will make the playoffs because in their division you got the Yankees, the Orioles, who were good last year. Then you've got the Blue Jays, who revamped this year. They got a lot of talent there with a big trade. They got Jose Reyes now, R.A. Dickey, Josh Johnson. If Josh Johnson could pitch like he was before he started having some injury problems, they got Mark Burley. I mean, that team's going to be good. I really think they will be. And then you have Tampa. They're always in. So the Red Sox are in a very tough division this year. So getting into that playoffs will be tough. Now, Joe, I know you really love what the Angels did, so can you just give me what you think the Angels will be like this year?
They're going to be one of the. I think they're going to be like. I almost said Super Bowl. They're almost well, I think they're World Series bound this year because they have Hamilton. They have like the strongest outfield in all of the MLB right now, with Trout, Trumbo, and Hamilton out there.
Would you agree with that, Alex, on the Angels this year?
Yeah, I would agree. I believe that they are World Series bound and probably going to be one of the hardest teams to beat with their offense and some of their defense, basically.
I think they're the favorite. I don't know how you can't put them as the favorite. They've got too much talent right now to not be the favorite.
Yeah.
Last year, things didn't work out completely for them, but I think this year they will. I think in addition to Hamilton, this team's too good. I think Trout will continue to produce. The guy's a great player. So I just think that, honestly, you're going to see this team gradually improve. And I think that the AL East will put out some good playoff teams. In fact, I think the AL East will put out 3 playoff teams. Their division winner and 2 wild card teams. I really think that's a possibility. I think the Texas Rangers will not make the playoffs with the loss of Hamilton.
Yeah, they lost everybody. Basically.
Napoli. And they've lost a lot of guys there. I just don't think they'll be the team that we've seen. The AL West will go to the Angels this year like it was earlier in the 2000s. I just think the Angels are your favorite. The Texas Rangers won't. The Red Sox, I think, will make noise. Now, I just want to get to this quickly. You guys remember all the stuff Alfredo Aceves did last year? All the problems he caused with Bobby Valentine? Did you guys hear about the incident we're going to talk about this really quick, the incident that happened out in spring training where he was throwing meatballs in batting practice on purpose when he wasn't supposed to be? Did you guys hear about that or no?
I haven't.
Okay, well, he was doing that. So my question quickly to you is, you're trying to change the culture in Boston. Do they get rid of him to make a statement like they're not taking crap anymore from people? Would you do that? Trade him? Get rid of him?
Yeah, because he's just, apparently, since what I've just heard, he's a real bum.
He's definitely a pain. Would you say that, Joe?
Yeah.
Would you get rid of him?
Yeah, he also also threw a ball right at Euclid at the beginning of the season. So, like, there's no.
Well, Euclid is just a ball magnet anyway.
I know. Like, he just threw it at him, and there's no reason for doing that. So.
All right, that's our thoughts on our service. I think get rid of him. You gotta show the culture. So we will have another show Friday. We will talk about all the NBA trade stuff that went down. Any NFL news in terms of what the Patriots do in free agents, not free agency yet, the franchise tag, none of that stuff. I don't think much will happen. We'll get more on the Red Sox. It was a little reduced today. We're going to talk more about that. We're going to get more in depth on this team. We're going to talk more about the Bruins, what we thought from Thursday night's game, and just all that stuff. So we will talk about what we think, all that stuff going forward. We're on YouTube on the Holbrook Cam channel. Sports Talk on HCAM, all episodes 3, 4, 5, I think are all up or something, maybe 3 or 4, I don't know. They're up there. So you can check out past episodes. We love to do interactive stuff. Look on Facebook. This is Sports Talk at HCAM. I'm Brian DeStoop with along Joe Pransky and Alex Vogel, and we'll see you next time.